Hello gents, this is Rabbit. Some guys at VP asked me about my canopy. I put there an electric motor on it, and they asked me for some more detail. Well, I will show you how I made my motor on my canopy so it can close automatically and still be safe. First of all, I will show you the top of the push rod from the motor. As you can see, it's a U-shaped pin with the rod. It's not connected to each other, so it means when something goes wrong in my canopy, for instance a fire, something else, the electricity goes out, I always can open the canopy by hand. So that's to be sure, that's always safe. Okay? Then, how is the motor built? It's a spindle motor. It means it's a cylinder, and inside the cylinder there's a spindle, and it works on 24 volts. That means when I put the power on it, I switch the power on, the spindle will turn and automatically push the cylinder up or pull it down. Okay? You see here, I made a long shaped hole in the inside of my canopy with a rubber hose in it, just to let it seem to be a little more nice, looks nice, and it's also a little bit protective so nothing goes into the hole. Okay, the motor needs to move a little bit forward and backward because the canopy, when it pushes up the canopy, the motor will come a little bit to the back, and when it releases the canopy goes down, the motor will turn a little bit to the front. At the bottom of the motor is like a hinge point, so the motor can move sideways, front and back. Okay. Then I made some hinges to put the canopy on my fuselage. You see, they are very heavy duty. Inside the hinge is a ball bearing with a rod, you see. The outside hinge has the rod pressed into it, and the inside hinge has the ball bearing pressed into it. And this is a very tight fit, and so as you can see, the inside hinge is at the inside and both sides, though it never can come off. Okay, I can take it off, and I need to remove the outside hinge, and I do that with these heavy duty balls. That's where the hinge is fastened to my fuselage of my pit, you see. Then I put an extra bolt, you see here, through and through, sideways. That's to prevent the canopy, because that canopy is very heavy, to prevent it from coming from the power on this wooden beam here would be too big, so it could break. So I put an extra bolt here to prevent that. Okay. Well, as you can see, my rod and the push rod of the motor is all the way to the back. As you can see, if you can see the canopy like this, it's a very large canopy, and when I lift the canopy, I do this by hand. I have here a lever, you see. When I put it up to the lever and I pull the canopy up, it should weigh about 45 kilos to get the canopy up by hand. Okay. Why isn't that more heavy? The canopy weighs normally 75 kilos. With a fuselage on it, it weighs about 125 kilos. That's normally not, I couldn't normally lift that, but to make it a little more light, I put here, as you can see, a gas cylinder on it from a Mercedes-Benz, a very heavy duty gas cylinder, to get me some lift on the canopy when I take it up by hand. Okay. Also, this cylinder will prevent that the pressure point here on the canopy all the way back on the canopy, this pressure point should be about 250 or 300 kilos. The motor can lift 350 kilos. To prevent the motor from burning, that cylinder, that skid cylinder on the left side, will help the motor push the canopy up. So the motor should be lifting about 100 kilos. That's doable for this size of motor. Okay, the motor is fastened down, and I will show you. You see through the cable wiring here, the motor is fastened to the canopy, to the fuselage, with a large alloy block. Both sides is a plate mounted, and the bolts go through and through. I have some thread put in it, so I can fasten it okay. And here at the downside of the motor, and if you can see through the cable mess that I made, sorry for that. Let's see. Here is like a point that the motor can go to the front and to the back. Okay. So that is how I made this motor work. The only thing I need to do is, you see here two small holes. I make a little strap in it, because the motor will not turn automatically off, but when some pressure comes on the motor, it will turn off. To prevent the motor going down all the way and falling to the back, I will put here a little strap, but the strap is so light, it's just enough to get the motor stopped. But when I need to get out the canopy because there's a problem, the strap will break automatically. Okay, that's for my own safety. I try this, and that works. Okay, well, I will now show you the motor and the canopy moving up and down, as you saw in the first movie. I will show you sideways, so you get a little more action of the canopy, and I will show you how the motor moves. Okay.